Well, hello, hello, hello. Welcome to our amazing live as promised called Balance. How you can achieve balance between your demanding career and your home life. Super excited to be here today with this pretty lady I'm going to introduce to you very shortly. But first, as you all are coming in, be sure to share and then also make sure that you join the conversation. We don't want you to just watch us talk. We absolutely want you to jump in, comment, like, ask questions, whatever it is that you want to do. All right. So my name is Cherie McGee. And I'm a senior consultant with Try Now Consulting. We support educators and families in behavior management for school-age children. And so this particular topic tonight will cover teachers, will cover parents, will cover absolutely anybody who has a demanding career and who has a family. This applies to you today, okay? So again, if you are in here, go ahead and share. Somebody is going to need this conversation, especially with us coming up on the holidays, right? Because it's a time for family. It's supposed to be. And so we want it to be a good time. And then beyond your holidays, we actually want this to be a great time for you. All right. So we are going to get into it. I have the lovely now, her tag says PLC Leadership Group. That is her amazing business we're going to talk about later. But her name is Miss Kamara Ramsey. So glad that she's here with me. I met Kamara this year, as a matter of fact. And I sat down with her and was able to have a conversation. And her listening to her story was very intriguing to me because I was able to hear about how she went from being a school principal to now transitioning over into this amazing business that she has. But she talked about the demands that being a school principal put on her. So I know this is a story that I wanted to share. So here we are. So thank you so much for being here, Kamara. First, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Thank you for having me, beautiful. I'm so excited. I was looking forward to this for the last 3 days. And it was really not by chance, right? It was ordained. This is what we needed to do. And I'm just so happy to be in this space with you. Thank you for having me. My name is Kamara Ramsey, and I am a boy mom. I always start with that because I have my 3 boys that I love so much. And there's some relevance out in that, outside of just being my mom, which we'll discover later. And right now I am a stay-at-home momapreneur, loving it, loving life, enjoying it. I was a principal for, almost 10 years. And I was a school teacher for 11 years. So I have over 2 decades of experience under my belt. And I decided that I wanted to transition. I didn't want to do that any longer, and mostly because I was not present for my children. So that's part of my story, just a little bit snippets, and then we'll get into all the goods later. But I had to transition. I love being in education, but I needed to do it in a different way. And not just a different way that was available for my family, but also a way that enlightened my mind. And that was really, really a part of my struggle as well. So I decided I would take the leap and do something different. And I love it.
Wonderful. I'm excited. Let's get into it, Kamara. So what actually made you decide to become a school principal? You were a teacher. And then what brought that transition on?
I'm cracking up because I literally can remember sitting in the nail salon.
Okay.
On a Friday, giving a call to University of Phoenix and just speaking to the lady about possibilities, right? So I had been teaching at that point, I had been teaching like 11 or 12 years. And I said, I know that I can't do this. And I've always been, what more can I do? I've always been that girl. I'm always doing the most, be it in business, personal, professional. I'm just always doing the most. So I was loving what I was doing. I was just curious as to when I could do more, how I could do more, what that was going to look like. So I was at the nail salon on this Friday because one of my colleagues at the time, she said, you should give a call to, University of Phoenix and see if you're interested. Well, I called on Friday and I was in class on Tuesday.
Wow.
That was not part of my plan.
Yeah.
And because I'm not a quitter.
Come on. Yes.
Because And not just because I'm not a quitter, because I'm a member of Sigma Gamma Rho sorority. Yep, shout out to all my folks over there. I was a number 3 on a line of 3, and they called us the Tenacious 3. And I am just that girl. Like, I have really become the person. I'm just relentless. Like, I don't stop until my eyeballs are bleeding and somebody tell me, okay, girl, that's enough. Right. So she gave me the information. I was like, I can do this. This is cool. Well, I'll tell you, my first class, literally, I also remember this so vividly. I cried.
Wow.
I was like, I can't do this. I was like, I can't do this. This is crazy. Because I had been removed from the college structure for so long. Well, all I needed to do was take that one class.
Mm-hmm.
And I was off and running. Then it became competition. I needed all A's and I needed a certain grade point average, and then, all the things. And so I started my journey, which was only going to take me 18 months to finish. I did complete it in the 18 months, despite the fact that I was pregnant with 2 children at the same time during that time. So I got pregnant once, had my middle son, and didn't wait much longer and had the third one. So I was pregnant twice with my master's. But I just wanted it done. And so I took 2 years off. And then I decided to pursue my principalship. So I pursued my principalship. I got my job. And it just kind of took off from there. But I had no vision of becoming a school leader and what that looks like and how you help people. But once I started to embrace the fact that I knew the classroom was not my last stop, then I was okay. But it wasn't part of my plan. It just happened.
Wow. I can totally.
But I always tell people anybody can be a principal. People get so obsessed with the title.
Okay.
And in my mind, it's not a hard job. I'm gonna take that back.
Okay.
It is a hard job. It's not a complicated job. It's not. It's all life stuff that we all do every day, especially as women and as mothers. Okay. I'm not shading the men, but I'm just saying, we know we got to be out the building at a certain time because we got to cook, and then we got so-and-so's got to get to practice, and this one's got to do that. And a lot of times dads don't have to do that. When you're running a school building, it looks no different than running your house.
Wow.
It's just on a more grandiose scale. It really is. And then to flip it, it's no different than my running a business to running a school. It's the same.
Wow.
It's just a flip.
Okay.
It really truly is. A school is a business. They just get in our heads and have us believe that it's not.
I love that. You definitely showed that you do not give up. You definitely told the truth. I see you all coming in. When you come in, say hey. Just say hey.
Hey,
so that we know that you are there and join the conversation. If you have comments, if you have questions, no problem. Go ahead and dig in. So we're talking about the balance. You had 2 babies while getting your degree, and then you went into principalship with small children still, right? So my question is, what challenges did your demanding career present in your home? Because that's what we're talking about. Having that family, but these super demanding careers. Like, some of us have jobs, some of us have careers, but then some of us have these demanding careers, right? That takes hours and hours and hours of our time. It seems like what we have to do never fully gets done. Like, somebody's always pulling on you, that kind of dynamic. I would say, what challenges did it present in your home?
Well, I will tell you, it, like any other house, it goes in waves, right? The culture of the house changes based on the age of the children. It's just kind of how it is. But it really, again, goes down to you acknowledging and recognizing where your house is at the time. So because I had 2 children who were literally only 18 months apart, I treated them like twins, because my oldest son is 8 years older than the other 2. Okay. 8 and 9 years old. So in my mind, I had twins, and then I had my oldest. And so that was the way for me to keep everybody in said location, for me to manage it. But it became difficult at a point because my profession really started to impact my marriage more than anything else.
Okay. So,
I'm currently going through a divorce. My soon to be ex-husband, he worked a 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., which has always been ideal for our life because he would get up and get out in the morning, and I would get the kids off to school, but then he was home in the afternoon to get the kids and do all the things.
mm-hmm.
The problem would come in when I'm pulling in at 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, right? Like I'm pulling in and I have nothing left. Like I'm burning on fumes
Wow.
because I've been there for everybody else. So how do you recharge? Nobody tells us that, right? Everybody just tells us that this principalship is, this cute, prestigious role and all of the things because they're hung up on it. Nobody ever stops to ask you, are you happy? Is this, granted, you chased it, but nobody ever asks you to stop and reflect. So when I started to reflect on certain things like my self-care and my exercising and things like that, it becomes a real delicate balance because you have to balance your husband, you have to balance the children. I had 3 children, so I had to manage them at 2 different ages and spaces and figure out what they needed. And still this demanding job where I was a principal, didn't have an assistant principal, didn't have a supervisor. I was in a one-man show in most cases. Wow. Twice. And also the first Black woman in 2 buildings twice. I don't know what that lesson is about. I'm still trying to figure that out.
That's a lot.
So I just balanced it with a sense of really tapping in and honing in on when I needed a break. I was big on using my days. So anybody that's out there and you saving all your days for whatever, use your time. You need it. But
I want to pause you right there because what you're saying is really good. And the thing is, it's nothing wrong with wanting to be successful, right? It's nothing wrong with having the demanding career, whatever career you've been called to in your life, right? Whichever one you've chosen. But like what we're talking about, just striking that balance, making sure that nothing goes like unkept. So I like what you're going into now, which is first, you talked about self-care. Go ahead. Can you give us some strategies specifically that you use?
Well, one of the things that I've adopted now, Cherie, is that I give myself a budget. Every year, I budget how much I'm going to do for self-care. That's because self-care doesn't just happen. It's not. Nobody's going to say to you, you need some self-care. Nobody's going to do that. And if they do say it, they're probably not likely to give you the self-care that you want at the moment. So you have to budget your self-care. Every year I budget $10,000 for my self-care. And what that looks like for me requires where I am at the time. That may be a retreat like this year. Well, 2023, I'm going to Arizona for a retreat. And that's just me, 4 days by myself, focusing on everything that I need, what it is that's happening with me. When I was in the schools, what I would do was I would do a weekend like in Atlantic City or something like that. Just taking some time away for yourself so the noise can stop.
I love that. We got to pause right there because I have never ever. Now I do self-care. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to take care of me, but I've never thought to start the year saying I'm going to budget in. Normally it can be, well, sometimes it can be impulsive, right? We know I get it. Our nails done, our hair done, right. But it, like out of the norm self-care, a lot of times that'll be spontaneous because you feel yourself fizzing out and you like, I got to take a pause, but you didn't really plan for it. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
I love that you said financially, because why are you going to be successful in this demanding career and not be able to celebrate or enjoy it, right?
And you can't, because you can't pour from an empty cup. I clearly remember as a principal, 1 year, it was a very, very trying year. And it was because things were just back to back. Things were just happening. And I personally had so much going on in my life. My son was going to college, like all of these things were happening. And I felt like I was being hazed. So I said to one of my colleagues who had come over to the building, I said, this is just too much. And when I felt myself, who I considered to be pretty tolerable, say this is too much, I knew I need a break, right? people will put on you and continue to put on you just to see if they can break you or where you are. But don't be too proud. Don't be too strong. Budget your time. Use your time and prioritize yourself. I used to tell my secretary all the time, if I die today or tomorrow, school gonna open and they're not gonna get you a sub to come to my funeral. So be clear. Be clear. Prioritize yourself.
Yes.
There's nothing prideful about leaving money on the table. Period. It's just not. It's just not. Because that either comes back to you in care or it comes back to you in dollars and cents. Pick one.
Absolutely. And that goes with something I say all the time. Now in my older years, like I can get money back, but I can't get time back. So whatever I can do to make sure my time is being used most wisely, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I'll pay the money, or like you said, even lose money if I have to. But because I can't get time back, that's really good. Lauren said, this is so on my street. She said, I took a self-care day today. Yeah.
Good for you, Lauren. And here's the thing. Here's the other thing. I'm glad you mentioned the hair and nails and all that. Sometimes, Cherie, when you have a demanding career, that's not even self-care. It's work, right? Because it really is, because you have to maintain this appearance, this professionalism that we have in our minds that you and I no longer have to adhere to, right? Because we can go to work in our pajamas now. But sometimes you go to the nail salon and you're not even nice to your technician because you're like, how long it's gonna take for you? I gotta go. Like you don't even enjoy the massage chair because you're so stressed about what you're doing, or maybe you bring your work with you and you can't decompress because you're not talking to yourself. The volume is so loud with the noise. You just can't even enjoy life. And it just was not meant to be this fast paced. It really was just not.
This is so good, honey. So self-care budget money, and then self-care budgeting time.
Budgeting time.
So use those days. So it's like, I got 20 years worth of days saved up. No, thank you. That has
Let me tell you. I left
desire
2 school districts. Both of them had to pay me.
Wow. Because you had that stored up time?
I had stored up time for one, and one gave me a severance package. Yep. I'm not leaving money on the table. You don't value me enough.
Wow.
And you make me feel like the work that I'm doing for the check that you gave me is a favor. You're not doing me a favor. Because at the end of the day, yes, there may not be a lot of jobs, but there's not a lot of me's. I am me, and I do it the way that I do it for a reason. And at the end of the day, you hired me because you saw something, and guess what? Somebody else gonna see the same thing. Be clear.
Love it.
Because it's in you. It's in you. It's in you, and that's what you represent. So you don't feel threatened by that. Right now, even now, Elon Musk is showing us, like, no, you can't treat people any old kind of way. Those days are gone.
I love it. And then when you have that mindset, it takes that desperate work ethic away, where you just pound and pound and pound and pound because you feel like you need this, or it can't happen without you, or whatever is going on in your mind and in your heart and in your emotions. It takes that away.
Exactly.
You can still work your demanding career, right? But you do it with a different ease and a different grace because you realize the space from which you're doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love it. You got one more tip for them? So we said we budgeting that money at the beginning of the year, and then that time, one more.
Self-care. So budgeting your money, making sure that you're planning for it, right? And also being sure that you are tapping in and recognizing where you are. Be okay with where you are, because where you are is not where everybody else is, right? And it goes back to the old run your race. But run your race, but understand why your race is at your pace, right? So really tap into yourself to understand what lessons you learned, what it is that you're getting, and why you are where you are, because then it makes your life make sense for you.
Absolutely.
And you don't have to stress about it.
Absolutely. And we're putting our ducks in a row, making what's important a priority. And at the end of the day, family is most important. We actually have to put that time in at home, right? To keep that,
Yes.
strike that balance that's necessary so that we have a healthy home life. All right, so let's talk about it. You are now with PLC Leadership Group. No longer doing the principal thing, no longer
No,
there. So
no.
tell us about PLC Leadership Group.
PLC Leadership Group came about out of me deciding, Lord, I don't know what you're trying to tell me, making me the little brown girl in two separate scenarios, but I need to do something a little different. But I also need to help my people and reach back because I see what it is and nobody talks about it. It's almost taboo. And I didn't like it, right? So I decided that I was going to be in a place to help executives and school leaders focus on being the best type of leader that they can be from an angle of positive, limitless, and courageous, right? So let's think about all the aspects and areas of your life. You are Cherie first. You are Cherie first. You are a child of God. You are Mrs. McGee. You are a business owner. So in all of those areas, how can Cherie show up positive, limitless, and courageous?
Yes.
That's what I do. So I help everybody tap into those spaces, how it is you can tie it in personally, professionally, using all of the information that you have, being who you are, figuring out how you're spending your time, how you're managing your self-care, how you're managing your children, how you're managing your husband, how you're managing your family. All of that is what we look at so that you can be the best leader, because in all of those areas, you're leading in some capacity.
I love it.
And we don't realize it. We don't realize how much we're leading. So you're leading people, but are you showing up as your most courageous self? Or are you leading with ease and stepping softly? Or are you leading from a positive place? Right? Because we know leading with an iron fist is not effective. Are you leading without limits? Are you pushing them to a space of it's limitless? The ceiling is high. Like right now, as Black women in the industry, we're killing it. It's still not enough of us, but we're killing it, right? We're making a mark.
Yeah.
So keep going. So that's how that came about. So in PLC, we offer one-to-one leadership, one-to-one coaching, which is super exciting. I have quite a few people that are going to be coming in for coaching. We have something that I call an unconference, which is a new concept.
Like that.
Well, it's not that new. Actually, it's been around for a while. So it's really a matter of where the participants are dictating the agenda of the conference, which is so super fun.
Nice.
I love those moments because it's more engaging, right? So everybody's more involved as opposed to a college sit and listen kind of space.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I push into the schools as well and focus on closing the door with the principals and conversations about them, as well as business executives, because people always say, oh, teachers in schools, we're the ones who raise other careers, but then we don't believe that we can pull back into the business community and help them. And we absolutely can, because it's still a business.
Yes.
It's the same kind of struggles, and people don't realize how they're leading. So we do a lot of self-work, a lot of reflection, and then based on your organization and where your organization is trying to go, we tie that into the type of leader that you are and get you to where you want to be. So we work with people who are either transitioning out of the space that they're in leadership and wanting to pursue a different leadership level, or the leader who is where they are and struggling to continue to make those gains.
Oh, dear God, that is phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
Thank you.
And 1 million people in this world need you right now. I know that. I know that for a fact. How can they contact you?
So you can follow me on all socials. I am on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn as PLC Leadership Group. Please come over there. I'm going to be sending out a newsletter. Definitely sign up for our newsletter that's going to be coming out. We have so much going on with our 12 days of Christmas. And oh my gosh, Cherie, I'm so excited. 2024 will be our first leadership retreat. So super excited about that. So stay tuned, stay connected. Definitely support us, like, subscribe, all of those things. and let us know how we can support you, because we all need that help. We all need that girl every now and then, or hey, you're getting it right, and that's important, and that's what we want to do.
Absolutely love it. Lauren says self-care budget, that's the game changer. I'm with you, Lauren. Listen. I'm in December with my self-care budget. That just never ever hit my mind. That alone is gold. I love it. I love it so much. Yes.
And the reason that we don't think about it is because you often work for people who don't pour into you.
Yeah.
Especially in the schools. That's what I can fail to understand. You ask to go to a workshop, they tell you no. Right? So you think that this is the end of your learning. How am I supposed to continue to improve? And then I'm a leader. Who's supposed to pour into me? And then again, they go back to making you feel guilty that you don't want to spend your own money to invest in yourself for something that they should be investing in their product for. So now if we're investing in our own product and continuing to grow, why not invest in yourself? You see all of the things that you need. So I do that every year. And this year, I think I might blow past my budget that I set this year. I have some big stuff I want to do.
That's what's up. And you're worth every bit of it. And all of us are,
yes.
Whether you're in a demanding career or not, this whole budget is self-care. I'm going to take a clip snippet of that and I'm going to start posting it, because I've never heard that before, but I'm going to get it around. We all going to get ourselves together.
That's it. Go online, print you out a calendar. I do mine in 6 months.
Okay.
I do it in like an increment. So I'll print out everything that I want for the year. Mm-hmm. And I'll put half the year on one side of the calendar, half the year on the other side of the calendar. And then I decide how it's going to work. Because again, you have to budget for it. The things that you want to do, like, me going to Arizona is not getting my nails done or going to the mall. I have to budget that in. That is going to be something that's important. And I need to know what I want to get out of it so that I get it, because it is an investment. So definitely do that. Okay. And it's fun.
I'm actually writing what you're saying. And I could see this being so beneficial too, because as you're in this demanding career and then you feel the pull of your career and you feel the pull of home and you feel the pull within yourself, it's like it gives you something to look forward to. I can
Absolutely.
see, and if I just finish this out, if I just get this last month done, I know I'm going here, or I'm going to buy this, or I'm going to go get that, because it's already budgeted in. It's a sure thing.
It's a sure thing. And one other thing that I do on my trips too, Cherie, when I'm on a trip, I plan a trip. That's what I do. So whatever my beach day is, I'm planning my next trip on that trip.
Okay.
That's what I typically will do. So if I'm doing something with the kids or whatever like that, then typically on that trip, I'll say, okay, so where are we going next? So I kind of have some idea if I didn't plan out too far. But usually I'm like to get some cookies in there, right? It's like, I need something to look forward to, like you said.
Absolutely. That is so good. And we're going to talk offline about this unconference, because I'm all for it. I'm coming to yours. I want to plan one myself. I love that concept. I've never heard of that, but I'm down for it. I'm good. So I'll be getting with you with yours, and then you'll be helping me plan mine.
Absolutely. I got you.
Yes. I have enjoyed talking with you, Kamara. And I know for a fact we just barely touched the surface of how to get the balance. But you did an amazing job getting us started. Like, you did an amazing job. And I appreciate all the wisdom that you provided. And so she's giving you where you can find her. That's on all social media outlets. And I also wanted to mention my ebook. So I wrote this ebook, right, that ties into this. It's called Can My Family Be Well? And you can find it you see that thing going across the screen, trynowconsulting.org. You can get your copy there. It's easy read, but you want to take your time with it as well. It's called Can My Family Be Well? Because if we don't have that balance in our homes, in between our careers, we can actually cause some good damage in our homes.
Yes.
And like long-lasting damage, some things that will take a while and a process to repair. So the book will actually help you with how to avoid some of those pitfalls. So go ahead over there and grab it.
Yes.
And get to work on it, as you get ready to go through the holiday season. And then if there has been some damage, the book also talks about how to repair that. Isn't that good?
That's it. That's amazing, Cherie. We all need that, because in your mind, you're thinking you're making the right moves or taking the right steps, but you don't know what the house is feeling if you're not having those conversations. And those are the difficult conversations. So you have to have those talks. It's so great that you have that strategy. I love it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Yes, Selena, she said this was great, ladies, and thanks for opening up this dialogue tonight. Absolutely, Selena. Thank you for being on. Dr. Maria, thank you so much for joining us. Good to see you. Thank you so much, you all. So if you've been on here, make sure you share it so others can see it. And I promise you, I'm going on when this goes off, and I'm going to get that little snippet where you say that self-care budget, and I'm going to start just put it on the TikTok and on the reel.
That's it. Everywhere. Get you a self-care budget. Yeah, because it don't just happen. Yes, I am happy to help. I'm glad that we were able to pour into some people tonight. And listen, be relentless. Take action. Don't just talk about it, y'all. Write it down.
Yes.
Put it on a calendar. Make it. And if you don't do it this year, write it again next year. Write again. Just do it again until you do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, thank you all for joining us. We will see you next time. Enjoy your holiday.
Yes. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes. Enjoy your Thanksgiving, your holiday off, whatever days you get off. Enjoy them with your family. All right. You all have a good night.
All right. Love you guys. Thanks.